Okay, everybody, we're gonna try this one more time. I'm so sorry. If you can hear me, if you don't mind saying yes on your control panel, I would appreciate it. On your Q&A panel. All right, we did it. I had a major technical issue this morning. I am so sorry, but we got it. Thank goodness. This is Jeff Phillips. I'm calling from Pensacola, Florida. Good morning, and I'm sorry for keeping everybody on hold. Right at the start of the webinar, I had a major phone and issue with my GoToWebinar. I just could not get it connected. So we are here. We're ready to rock and roll, and you already know how to use your question and answer panel. So all you have to do, if you have any other questions, is send me a question through that. I'd be happy to answer them. We're going to spend a little time talking about college recruiting. I'm going to spend a little time talking about National Meet the Firms Week. And so welcome to this morning's session, and I really appreciate everybody being on in the middle of a Monday morning. I know it's hectic over here, and I'm sure it is over there as well. What I'd like to do is take just 10 minutes and talk about what to expect from National Meet the Firms Week, why we do this, what you can expect as an employer. And then after that, if you'd like to stick around, I'm going to just do a few minutes on what we're seeing around best practices in college recruiting for accounting. And I welcome your questions and comments on that as well, because I know we're right in the middle of college recruiting season. And so National Meet the Firms Week is this week. So we have, gosh, a few thousand students who have joined for National Meet the Firms Week, and it's really about the students. It's a phenomenal way for students to get career education content, which is Accountingfly's main focus, is educating students and educating professionals and firms about all things related to accounting recruitment. Students, we feel like, get out of school and know a lot about careers in the Big Four, which is great. We don't think they know as much about careers in mid-market firms, local and regional firms, industry, global opportunities. And so we feel like this is an opportunity to educate students about what their career options are. So this is the only firm webinar we do during Meet the Firms Week. The rest of the webinars, we have 7 of them right this week, are all geared towards teaching the students about their career tracks, about education options, and how to prepare for the CPA exam. So if you know any accounting students, please let them know about this event, and they can go to meetthefirmsweek.com to apply and to register. The other benefit of the students is they get included in a digital resume book that is submitted to all the employers on Accountingfly, our applicant tracking system. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And they can apply to internships. We're watching applications being made by the minute right now in our system because of all the students that are in there. And so our employers are typically getting notifications letting them know what's going on. I'm going to just show you 2 quick things. One is make sure you know how to post a job on Accountingfly and how to access students. But just so you know, Accountingfly, think of us as the monster.com meets LinkedIn for the accounting profession. We want to be the accounting career ecosystem or career network for the accounting profession globally. And a lot of you on the call are familiar faces. You know us as College Frog up until July of this past year, when we fully made the change because we decided we could help firms hire experienced staff in addition to college staff. And we want to really kind of put our foot down, draw a line in the sand, and be an accounting-specific company. So that being said, our job postings for entry level are free. They always are free. And so how long do they last? Well, they last as long as you need them to. If you decide you want to leave them up for a year because you're recruiting for a spring 15 or spring 16 now internship, go for it. As long as you're continuing to use the site, you're accessing candidates, the postings will always be displayed. Why are they free? Well, a big part of that is because of a partnership we have with Wiley. Wiley, the publisher of the KESO Intermediate Accounting Textbook, is a very strategic partner to Accountingfly. And so when you post a job on Accountingfly, when you post an internship on Accountingfly, it not only reaches the 25,000 active students on Accountingfly, but it also reaches a very large network of students because KISO is a textbook that Wiley publishes. It's used by roughly 90% of all sophomores and juniors when they take an intermediate 1 and 2 class. It has a massive reach. And so those job postings are delivered and reach a very large audience of accounting students around the country. And it's fantastic because it's a great way to cast a wide net when it comes to student recruitment. So, I guess the long and short of it is that because of this partnership with Wiley, we both decided it would be in everybody's best interest if internship and entry-level postings were free on Accountingfly. We just want to build a large database of job postings that reach those Wiley students and that reach our students. So hopefully you posted a job. So very quickly, I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to look at Accountingfly. Hopefully everybody can see that. All right. Fantastic. So hopefully you're looking inside the Accountingfly ATS. And if you don't know about Accountingfly, there's sort of 2 levels to it. One is we're really an end-to-end hiring system for accounting firms. You can post entry-level jobs, internships, and experienced jobs, and then you can manage these candidates and keep track of them in our ATS. This is a service that builds talent pools. Hopefully, our vision is to make firms the headhunter. Firms are paying headhunters a lot of money, and we think that if you build talent pools of every candidate you come into contact with that you don't hire, or that left your firm, or that you did hire, you will have the same resource that the Robert Halfs of the world will have. And so you're looking in the back end of that account. Really easy to post a job on Accountingfly, and so it's as simple as just posting an intern or entry-level job. You can select the experience level right here. And a public job is found in search results. Private is just something that you could link to, but you're not promoting it on Accountingfly or the Wiley. Job title, full-time or part-time, job description, your location, and then how do you want them to apply. You can have them up, if you have an ATS, you have Taleo, you can have them apply off-site to a requisition in your system, all right? Or you can have them apply into Accountingfly. Super simple, and we will send you a notification as soon as you get applicants. And Accountingfly is different than Monster, where I spent 7 years. We are a full-service inbound recruiting business, meaning once you post a job, you don't always get immediate gratification. It does take some time, but that's because we have a team of hiring advocates and job sourcers who are promoting these jobs. We promote mostly through search, paid search, SEO, as well as social media, right? And through partnerships like Wiley to connect with candidates. And we use events like this to drive a lot of candidates to you. All right, so lastly, I'm going to show you just the inside of our ATS. Just to give you kind of a sense of, so if this customer has what we call the paid ATS, and you can see here, every step along the way of the recruitment process is represented. So you've got candidates in every tab. Like these candidates applied to the job. Kind of like on your iPhone, you get a blue dot if it's a new candidate. You're able to rank the candidate. You'll know if they're CPA eligible or not. I'd like to open up one of these candidates' profiles. Well, they've got a lot of candidates. Right, so we've opened up Jonathan's profile here. You've got his resume and his transcript, some work history. We've got his hometown, his email address, and the cities he'd like to live in as well. Okay. This guy looks like he's a college student. And then his education, graduating this year, right, and then honors. You can add notes, you can rank the candidate, and then move on. So last place is the digital resume book and where that goes. So I want to show you the folders. So here in the app, we've got a list of folders for that you can create yourself. All right, you just go over here and create a folder. After Meet the Firms week is over, we add a folder into your folders group. It'll be called 2014 Digital Resume Book. and it'll include every candidate who is in your state, who registered for the event. And that means that either their hometown is in your state, or they want to move to your state, or they are currently in college in your state. We believe that the location connection is the most powerful way to connect with A players on campus. I mean, you have the colleges in your backyard. We're trying to expand your reach and get online so that you can find the A players who want to move to your town. We know that that's critical to the process, especially in accounting. And so it'll be right here. Last piece here is kind of how this works. If your jobs are free, and we welcome you to post them, the candidates, if they apply to Accountingfly, and you don't upgrade to the ATS level, that's no problem at all. You'll see every candidate and you'll have access to their information. If you upgrade to the ATS, then you'll be able to take notes and rank, share the candidates, add them to folders, and view the digital resume book. That package is normally $500 a year. But we are because of Meet the Firms Week, we offer it for free if provided that you have a discussion with our partner Wiley about their test prep product CPA Excel. And so I can explain more after the call. If you'd like to email Jeff at accountingfly.com and just let me know you're interested in how to access the free ATS, then I'd be happy to follow up with you about that. But really, we give it away for free for a year. The one piece I guess I didn't even mention is importing. So if you're on this call, you go to college recruiting on campus, one of the major benefits of Accountingfly is that we take all those resumes that you get through on-campus recruiting, okay, and your system today is probably you build an Excel spreadsheet, and you take that Excel spreadsheet and you probably have to do a lot of file maintenance. We found that upwards of 80% of the recruitment process is paperwork. That doesn't leave a lot of time for recruiting people. Okay, so you send us the resumes. Let's say you're going to University of Illinois, and before the interview, you get that packet of PDF resumes that you typically are now filing away, building files for. You send those resumes to your account manager at Accountingfly, and we build the profiles of those candidates for you. So now you have all these candidates in here, and you're able to take notes on the candidates, and they're organized. You've got all their documents, and it's a very nice, elegant way of taking stock of all the candidates that you have. Everybody, and here's the big benefit is you create talent pools of everyone that you didn't hire. So you take these candidates, you didn't hire them, but they're great. You organize them into talent pools that you can now mass communicate with over in the Accountingfly. So again, that's the importing, the digital resume book, the ATS. Those features are all part of our free promotion. We would just need to connect with you to set a quick demo on CPA Excel to move that forward. Otherwise, job postings are free. You can capture them in kind of our ATS Lite, where you just see the candidates, and we hope you'll do one or the other. Just email Jeff at accountingfly.com if you have any questions. So from a timing standpoint, Meet the Firms Week starts today. If you haven't posted a job, please do it today if possible. If you have any questions, you email me. I'm running webinars all day, and I'll have one of our account managers or our sales leader let you know how to, if you have any issues, we'll fix it for you. But you may not hear directly back from me. Okay. So that's a quick overview of Meet the Firms Week and what this is all about. Just before I move on, is any questions from just from National Meet the Firms Week perspective? And I'll wait a second if they come in. All right, I do have one question about this. Is how do you reach students? How do you market to students? Okay, a great question. And this goes back to when we were College Frog. We were essentially just a college recruiting and accounting business. A couple major ways. One, this event. This event is huge and typically gets between 2,000 and 4,000 accounting undergrads, mostly in their junior year, mostly. to register for our event because we're advising them with so much career content, career education. So it's a really exciting way to attract students. Secondly, we promote internships and jobs to our professors. Professors around the country, in turn, will promote the jobs to their students. That's one way they hear about us. We educate accounting students. We speak to accounting clubs on campus. We speak to professors. We do webinars, live presentations, all about 3 topics: career options, so they know about you as mid-market firms; technology you need to be a next-generation accountant; and how to take the CPA exam, how to get licensed, basically. So that's how we do that. So wrapping up National Meet the Firms Week, post a job. If you're interested in the ATS, we are offering it for free. It's about a $2,500 value. Although even when we sell it, we're selling it now for $500 for early adopters, but we're actually allowing it for free if you're interested. And just email me that. So let's get back into PowerPoint here, and we're going to talk about Recruit Like the Big Four, kind of our presentation about the college recruiting landscape. Bear with me one second while I kind of get this back live. All right. Here we go. Okay, so just kind of transitioning to talk about college recruiting, and please ask questions. We'll spend a few minutes doing Q&A at the back. So we have since starting College for All Now Accountingfly, probably talked to 600 accounting firms across the U.S. And some of them are doing very well with recruiting, and others are not. We've learned an incredible amount, and for those who are customers on the phone will recognize that we do take the time to learn from our customers and try to understand what is, what are the challenges, and also what are the best practices. And so what we've learned really makes up this presentation. And what we've learned that see firms doing extremely well is this presentation. It's critical. We've seen a lot of firms who, and I think this is the biggest trap you can fall into, is, well, you need to hire 20 people a year. And so let's just travel to 15 college campuses, 15 accounting programs. We hear it more than you'd think. And I don't think that's very efficient. I think it's not a good use of your firm's resources. So hopefully we can talk about a few ways, maybe 3 kind of observations and 3 big picture strategies that can improve talent acquisition. And the other big picture here is that we know that you are successfully recruiting probably at a local school. That is fantastic. In fact, your local school is absolutely critical to the process. What we will advocate is don't get stuck in the we need to go to more schools to get more candidates mindset. We're actually going to advocate that you go to fewer schools, but invest deeper in those schools on campus and let the internet work for you a little bit with sites like this. My background is in job board sales. I used to work at Monster.com and then another site called Snagajob. And so this is a career for me is job board building, job board technology, things like that. So it's an interesting niche for me. And then I guess as a person who's founded a company, I've never realized how critical talent is to the organization. And so it's reinforced my interest, my passion in helping companies hire better people, better quality for less budget. So we're going to jump right into kind of a few observations here. We know the race for talent is tightening. Okay, if you're an accounting major right now, it's the greatest job market you have ever had. I mean, I kind of am jealous of accounting majors in 2014 because they really have a crazy amount of opportunities available to them. We know that it's going to get tougher to hire people, including accounting majors. We're seeing the big four spread out and go to more schools than they used to, which is kind of scary because they were already going to a lot beforehand. But they're getting squeezed, and so that's presenting a challenge for our mid-market clients because they are some of their strongholds are now being you're starting to see Deloitte at some of these Meet the Firms, KPMG. It's only going to get tougher. Gary Shamus is the CEO of SS&G. That's a top 200 U.S.-based accounting firm. He speaks a lot, if you've ever been to Winning is Everything, about how the race for talent is getting tighter. And one of the reasons is because about 75% of partners, of today's partners, will be retired in 8 years. And that's a scary statistic we all sort of hear a lot. We're not the first people to kind of make that claim. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on college recruitment to fill in a lot of slots. And that's another reason why you see the Big Four start to creep up at some of the campuses. We know that for the ones that you do hire, your high performers, because the job market for experienced talent, they're looking for opportunities. We're seeing a lot of high performers leave regional firms. I was at a recent meeting, the Boomer Consulting Roundtable of CEOs, and I asked the managing partners in the room, how many of you have lost profitable, high-performing staff in the last 12 months? Every single person in the room raised their hand. We're coming out of a recession, and especially in accounting, and so that has opened a door in talent. Now, what does that mean for college recruiting? It could mean even more downward kind of pressure on demand for students. The demand and pay is the highest it's ever been for accounting majors. Good news, though, is that there's never been a better time to recruit using technology. There's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of it's cheap, and a lot of it's free. And there are things that your firm can be doing to make quick hires, but also to invest more in the long run, to just to be better at the process. I'm going to spend most of my time that we have remaining on that third point. There never being a better time to recruit using technology. A lot of you recruit college and experience. So let me tell you this: the experienced accountants are getting more web savvy, and there's a lot of tools on the internet that is opening up career opportunities to them. Okay, they're using LinkedIn, they're using Twitter, they're using Facebook, they're using Accountingfly. Okay, they're using Indeed. You should be using these sites too to hire entry level or to hire experienced staff. A couple other observations that I think you might be interested in. First two we're all aware of. Demand's at an all-time high. If you're looking for 3 to 5 years out, that is almost at the all-time high. So we're just in this intense labor market that we haven't seen in 7 years probably. We graduate about 60,000 graduates in accounting. Okay, just as a kind of a side note, about 45,000 of those go into public. Okay, and of those, the Big Four hire a third of them. So you just lob them off the top, right? And that leaves 7 to 10 candidates per firm in public accounting. I mean, that leaves 7 students per firm. Think about that. And that's not per firm like there's 44,000 AICPA members. We mean like we believe that leaves 7 candidates left for every firm that hires interns and entry-level staff. That's not a great statistic for regional firms and local firms. And the next one's even worse. It bothers me a great deal that students and experienced staff are not aware of opportunities at regional and mid-market local firms. I don't know why. They're not getting that information on the campus level. I was talking just the other day to a guy named, I can't say his name, but a person who is 2 years out. He's at a Big Four in New York City. Graduated from a great college in Pennsylvania, then went to New York. Went to PwC, and I asked him why he went to PwC, and he said he had a great experience in recruiting. He said he was wooed by the partners with offers to play golf and dinners out. He had partners calling him, just checking in, saying, "We really want you." I think that's great recruitment, by the way. And I told him about a firm here in Pensacola and the managing partner, and I explained to him about his career track. All right, and I said, I want you to tell me what sounds better to you, not in general, just to you. And I told him about one of our customers here in Pensacola, and how the partner at that regional firm made partner in about 10 years. How he's looked at now as a CFO of 5 or 6 large businesses here. He's a community leader, doesn't work 90 hours a week, and has a life and makes good salary too. And I described that to him. I said, now hearing what you know about this person, how does mid-market firms sound to you now? He goes, you know what? I didn't know all of that about mid-market firms or regional firms, and I wish I had looked at them in college. So I thought that's interesting, right? We've got a story to tell. We've got great benefits of working at mid-market firms, but certainly the high performers coming out of college don't know about it. They just don't. Interestingly, I asked this man, so you're 2 years out, how much longer are you going to stay at the Big Four? And he said, I'm going to stay for, I'm done with 2 years, I've done my 2 years, and I'm leaving. I said, where are you going? He said, well, I want to go into private. I want to go in-house. I said, of the people you started with in the Big Four that you know, how many, or what's the percentage of your colleagues who feel the same way, meaning they're getting that 2-year plan and they're leaving to go in-house? The answer startled me. He said 100% of the people I work with. And so that scares me too, because so you're getting these excellent candidates going to the Big Four and getting the prestige and the good work experience on their resume, but they are leaving public accounting. We got to find a way to stop that. And I think a lot of it is just educating students at the student level, and when they're sophomores, juniors, and that's a challenge Accountingfly is taking on. And like the last bullet says, 70% of the people who start in the Big Four leave within 3 years. And that could be an opportunity for regional firms, but it's tough because they kind of leave public. So just some things to think about as we think about college recruiting. Just last 5 bullet points about our survey from firm recruitment frustrations. You can see them. I mean, I've talked to a lot of firms who quit college recruiting altogether because they could not compete against the Big Four. Low interest in moving to my city. I hear that all the time. We're going to show you how to combat that. Students aren't interested in working at my firm or whatever my size firm is. And the recruiting process is frustrating. Is it frustrating for you? It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of challenge. And I feel like firms drop a lot of balls and a lot slips through the cracks just because the process is a real pain in the neck. But you're not the only ones that have these frustrations, because we included all types of firms. Surprisingly, do you know who else is sort of dealing with a lot of these same frustrations? And it's the Big Four. Luckily, because the Big Four struggles with these problems too, we can learn from how they react to the problems, because they have budget to put into recruiting and to answer and put people on these problems, put money into these problems. The Big Four have gone through every one of those frustrations, like students aren't interested in working at my size firm. One of these Big Four is getting really hammered by private corporations like startups who are offering stock options in California, companies like Facebook. So there's always a frustration. But the Big Four are remarkable because they do something about it and they can teach us. One of our Accountingfly clients is a former Big Four partner in charge of recruiting. And he left one of the Big Four and works at a mid-market firm in California. We really like this person because he is a recruiting genius and talks a lot about his experience and what he learned at the Big Four. And so we spent a lot of time working with him and asked him, to open up his playbook for recruitment. And he does things very, very well. And I think everything that they do is best practices. And they have a great deal of success against the Big Four at Tier 1 colleges and at experience levels as well, because they adapt, I think, a progressive recruitment strategy. All right? I'm going to sum up that strategy in 3 steps. Talent over geography, first of all. Focus on building networks and woo your best talent. Now, talent over geography. What does that mean? It means if you're located in San Antonio, Texas, like I said earlier, you ought to go to the local college, but don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to the local college. Open up your recruitment strategy to nationwide. We see this every day. people who are here in Pensacola who need to move to San Francisco or Atlanta or New York. But Atlanta and New York and San Francisco firms don't recruit at the University of West Florida, despite the fact that they had a top 10 performance on the CPA exam nationally last year. So something like Accountingfly, something like State Societies gives you an open window to recruit A players coming out of school who's not at the schools that you recruit at. So think nationally. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Networks. I like to call these talent pools. All right, and it starts in some large firms outside of the Big Four. Their strategy to build talent pools is they start working with sophomores, and they do things like leadership weekends at the sophomore level, or even externships, which we can talk more about if you'd like. But building networks, getting their email addresses, building these lists, and nurturing those leads. So let's think about KPMG for a minute. If KPMG loses an audit senior in St. Louis, do you think they start from scratch and post a job, try to get candidates from scratch? No way. They are digging into their alumni network, into a list of leads that they've built over the years. They're going back to people that they've courted and seeing if they could get them to flip. It's the same thing with smaller firms, and the same thing with college recruiting. You come to a campus for on-campus interviews and to meet the firms very late in the process, and your competition has been there all along building relationships. And yeah, they do have the resources to do that. But this is why we're going to advocate that you reduce the number of colleges you go to and get to that college a lot earlier. Build those networks. On the experience side, talent pools are a critical way of filling jobs faster. Robert Half did a study. I'll spare you the details, but essentially what it found was it takes a really long time to hire senior accountants. And the time that you got to fill that seat, the rest of the staff get frustrated and burnt out, and a lot of them leave. So the solution, one of the solutions, was the use of candidate networks or talent pools, going back to the people that you didn't hire, right? And going back to them and saying, you enjoyed a recruiting process with us. Do you know anybody who might be interested in this job? Lastly, leverage your best talent already in-house. Now, Sandra Wiley is a noted consultant to the accounting profession, talks about the use of stay interviews. And I realize that we're talking a lot about college recruiting today. A lot of the candidates are not really already working there. But think about those interns. Do you have an internship program? I really hope that you do. And we'd be happy to give you best practices on building one. But a stay interview involves the leader of your firm or a senior member of the firm going to an intern or going to a high performer, experienced staff and saying, look, we value you and we want to make sure you stay here. You know, we want you to understand that that's important to us and we want to work with you. And what are the things that are important to you to make sure you stay here? And open that dialogue. Sandra says it's like kind of like getting married and never telling your wife, I love you again. After you exchange wedding vows, you've got to work the relationship. When that's whether it's an intern who just spent 3 months with you, or a couple of months with you, or an experienced high performer. All right, so getting back to number one, talent over geography. I want to tell you a story about McAllen, Texas. McAllen, if some of you are in Texas this morning, McAllen's down on the border with Rio Grande. And it is on the border of Mexico and the United States. It is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty hot, and it's the kind of place that a lot of people grow up and leave. And so one day I was on the phone with a firm in McAllen, and they were trying to hire an entry-level staff, and their complaint was, going back to those firm frustrations I told you earlier, their complaint was, no one wants to move to McAllen. No one. And I said, you might be right, but let's just take a look in our database and see if anybody has an interest in living in McAllen, because we believe in the power of these location connections. So I showed them, it was College Frog at the time, but I opened up our site, I clicked McAllen, Texas, and I did a search. And we got 7 candidates. Okay, these are 7 recent grads or students who, because the way Accountingfly constructs profiles, we ask everybody, what is your hometown and where do you want to live? We give them multiple choices. So these 7 students that particular year, this was last year, said they wanted to move to McAllen. All right, we focused in on Luis. You can see here, next to the red arrow, he listed the towns that he wanted to move to after school. McAllen was one of them. And I give this example because when I showed this to the client, she understood the value of focusing on talent more than worrying about geography. She was recruiting just at the local college, and it wasn't working out. But there are so many people. There's 60,000 people who graduate with an accounting degree every year. There's an economy and a market of locations and connections to locations. So really, you just, for starters, just find out who's interested. So she called every one of those students, and I don't know how the end of the story went, but I know that she reached out to them because she felt like it was the best chance she had. And I don't think this is a guarantee that she could hire someone like Luis, but I think it was a phenomenal opportunity. Note also that in those search results, one of the candidates that came back, who said they wanted to move to McAllen, they were about to graduate from Texas A&M University, which is a major Big Four program. So always important to consider that location. So what about casting a wide net, just keeping going national? You got to have excellent information on your website. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but essentially here is the standard you should hold yourself to. A student is on the other side of the country, and you guys are in San Francisco, let's say, and that accounting student knows that they want to move to San Francisco. Or maybe they're in San Diego, they want to move to San Francisco. The point is they want to move, and they found the name of your firm by a Google search or from their state society or Accountingfly. They're going to go to your website. What will they find? Think about that student at 1 o'clock in the morning. They just got done preparing for a test, and they look at your firm. Are you advocating the fact that you're a mid-market firm and what the firm values? This firm is RBZ. They have rbzcareers.com. It's a really good website for firm promotion, just in terms of just how to do it right. And we like these firms, and I'd be happy to email this to you. You just email me at jeff@accountingfly.com. But why work at our firm? We've seen some nice ways to communicate what our values are. What does the firm stand for? Why work in our size firm? Isn't that the most important thing? When we already know that students don't understand the benefits of the mid-market firms, I would always lead with that. So think about that student at 1 o'clock in the morning looking at your site. That's the only chance you have of getting that A player to convert into an applicant. Is your site going to do the job? It needs to answer these questions in order to do that. The students are interested in compensation, clearly, but they're also interested in what their career path is going to look like. Tell me what will happen if I'm a high performer at your firm. What will my life look like? You can do that in a job description. You can do that on an Accountingfly profile or on your website. We encourage using LinkedIn, especially the free resources of LinkedIn, to connect, to cast that wide net over the internet. And it looks like this. Your firm should have a LinkedIn page, a LinkedIn profile. And whoever manages that should post the job that you're looking for, looking to fill, intern, entry-level, experience, all right? And then have the members of your firm share that post. We do this for our customers. And I think it's just a really effective way that you should be doing this. So whoever manages the LinkedIn posts the job, it should link to your, however you apply to the job. Maybe it links to Accountingfly, maybe it links back to your own recruiting site. Send a note to everybody in the firm saying, we just posted a new job. Go right now to the LinkedIn and share it. Think about the power of that free promotion online. Everybody's got 600 or 700 peers or LinkedIn people in their network. It's free, and LinkedIn is very, very effective at this. This is something that we do with great success. Job posting summary. I've worked in the job board business a long time. I don't think the kind of major job boards are great for college recruiting. I think your options are really Accountingfly / College Frog and Wiley. That promotion is the best option available to recruiters of accounting students. I believe that your state societies are an excellent resource because most larger state societies have a student coordinator, a person who's in charge of promoting to students. Reach out to those people. You want to find a way to make A players graduating who are going to be high performers find your firm. Great story. Recently I heard about a firm in Mobile, Alabama. They found a grad on, they typically go to University of South Alabama, which is their local school. They just hired a graduate from Vanderbilt, which is a top accounting program, and they are thrilled with this new hire. And they did it by posting online. Okay, and that accounting grad on from Vanderbilt, that was his hometown. He found the firm over the web, called them, which is fantastic, promotion, and I mean just proactiveness, and made that connection. We believe that you should focus on just a couple of schools, get your partners into the classroom, get your partners into the career center, do resume critique sessions, okay? Teach classes, teach business case studies. Get those students into your office early, their sophomore year. Just think if you developed a relationship with the local professors, it would be like a pipeline to your school. Now, and this is the other thing, is a lot of partners will want to influence the HR and say, well, I graduated from Baylor University, which is where I did graduate from, and that's where you should go because they have good accounting majors. Well, you know what? Baylor's sending everybody to the Big Four right now. They just are. So look at high ROI schools. Measure the ROI of recruiting there. Fewer is going to actually reduce your budget, but get you better, more candidates in the long run. And you fill up the rest of the gap is being online. Be on the free postings on Accountingfly. And you notice I put College Frog in that first bullet. That we changed the name of the site from College Frog to Accountingfly, obviously. So that was a typo on my part. I just want to clear that up. There's not two different sites. So those free jobs on Accountingfly are the way to go. I've talked to a lot of firms recently who are going upstream. They're going to MBA programs to talk to like MBA, Masters of Accounting combo students, and they feel like they want a little extra maturity, especially at smaller firms. People who need a little bit less training, and that is working out for a lot of firms we talk to. We advocate Recruit 365, and that means you should have postings, especially if they're free, all year round. Most of our clients on the experience side, they have postings all year round because you never know when somebody's going to be searching online for a job. And if you just take the time right now to post that job, whether it's experienced or entry level, they'll find you on their time. And that's the most important thing because you can't control when they search. Events like National Meet the Firms Week, we do an event every spring and every fall for experienced hires called Advance with Accounting Today. These are great opportunities to get in front of students. And I've already talked about LinkedIn. So I'm going to make two fairly quick points, then we'll wrap it up. A lot of firms leverage social media, and by that I mean Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, for college recruiting, and you should too. We don't have a lot of time to go into this, but I can tell you from personal experience, we find great candidates because of social media, because we are putting good content out on social media. And you use social media to reinforce your brand, to tell your story, to reinforce the values of your firm. One of our favorite firms is in Orlando, Crossford is in Raleigh. They're a more casual firm. Everything they do on Facebook and Twitter kind of represents a little bit of a casual vibe. It's good marketing. Jennifer Johnson is their marketing leader, and she's great. And I can tell you more. I'd be happy to speak more about, we've got a small team. How in the world are we going to do social media? There are providers out there for very cheap that can kind of take that over for you. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I would say this: you're dealing with a connected millennial audience. If you're not on it, it will hurt their perception of your firm very quickly. Talent pools, kind of the last piece, and kind of a piece about automating the recruitment process. We talked a lot about it when I showed you the ATS earlier in the presentation. Use your different networks of candidates and build those talent pools. And if you have an applicant tracking system, then use that. If you don't, you've got a way to use ours for free. Pull those younger college candidates together, get them into a folder in an ATS. Your alumni, okay, are a great talent pool you should be targeting. Every college recruit that you don't hire is an opportunity to go back to them. Think about this. We know that 70% of the Big Four new hires will turn over within 3 years. Are you keeping in touch with those candidates so that they'll come back to your firm? That's why talent pools are valuable. And you automate the recruiting process, and you get off of the Excel spreadsheets and the file folders to make your life easier, to talk to more candidates, and ultimately to build those talent pools. And what do I mean by automating? Letting a firm like ours import all those resumes from your college recruiting program so that they're all in the cloud. Notes, transcripts, ranking. You could think about the power of having a candidate come in for an on-site. You don't have to print out resumes and transcripts. You just share the candidate's profile with one of your partners or whoever's doing the interview, and they add their notes to the candidate. Now, you as the recruiter, the quarterback of the recruiting process, assimilate those notes all in one screen and make a hiring decision. Just to look at how we automate recruiting and how you gather all the data and the notes on every candidate, all the documents. The 2 key points of using an ATS is eliminate the data entry and low-level tasks. You're already strapped for time as it is. Respond much faster to candidates, which we have seen proven out that increases the likelihood that you can hire somebody if you're responding faster. But you build talent pools, and that's critical. This is my favorite part about it, is everybody goes into one place. Whether they come to your website, they go into Accountingfly, if you're using Accountingfly, because we'll have a button that says Apply with Accountingfly. If you get a paper resume at a Meet the Firms event, we scan that into Accountingfly. Every source of candidates goes to one place, and that builds a pool for you. And if you don't like spending $25,000 per hire later on for experienced hires, then I highly recommend you consider this, because it's going to make your life a lot easier. So let's wrap things up. We know that it's getting tough to hire. We expect it to get a little more challenging, especially with demand and competition increasing. We know that high performers are looking for better opportunities. We hope they'll find them at your firm. And there's a lot of different ways for you to find candidates and a lot of different ways for those candidates to find you. We encourage you to use them. I talked earlier about the partner from the Big Four who left the Big Four and went to a regional but employed his playbook for recruiting. Let me tell you the rest of that story. This partner is, when his firm has offers out to candidates, to students who are also being recruited by the Big Four, and they're given an offer from the Big Four. So in other words, for all their candidates that have offers from his firm and a Big Four firm, these guys win 80% of the time, this small firm, 80% of the time, and they're recruiting at Tier 1 accounting programs. I tell you that because they're a local firm. But I can also tell you that they believe in talent over geography. They use the internet to find A players. They use an ATS. They employ social media. They have a blog. They have a great website that explains their values and why work in a mid-market firm. Those things all together are the winning playbook for right now to kind of counterbalance some of the issues. So these guys are doing it, and frankly, they're Accountingfly customers too, because they see the value of attracting talent over the internet. And that's what it really boils down to, is Accountingfly allows the internet to do some work for you. You know, heavens knows you're busy as it is, right? So that is my presentation. I hope that it added value. I truly do. And if it did not, or if you have questions, please email me at jeff@accountingfly.com. If organizing all of your recruiting activities is interesting to you and you'd like to do it for free, email me at jeff@accountingfly.com, and we will get you set up with that. And lastly, if you have any questions, now's a great time to use your Q&A panel and fire away. Excuse me for one second. Just one quick question here, and this is actually not about college recruiting, it's about experience recruiting, and the question is, you know, can you tell more about what you guys do for experience recruiting? Okay, no problem. So we changed the name to Accountingfly so that we could help firms hire senior staff. We know that 2 to 7 year range is critical to every firm, and so we have a solution for that. We believe in year-long job postings. You can buy it by month, but we have kind of a subscription model where you can buy job packs for the year. Those jobs are posted on not only our job board, but other job boards on our own dime, meaning we pay for that additional promotion. We have headhunters on staff who work social media and attract candidates, and we have a team of hiring advocates who make sure that you don't miss candidates who apply to your firm. We are a full-service recruiting solution, and all these candidates go into your ATS, so that you never have to deal with candidates outside of one, you know, system ever again. We started this in July, and we are already having success with. We have a large number of interviews. We're at a large number of on-site interviews with firms right now, and even have a couple of placements already made. And I say placements, we're not a retained search agency. We're a job board. It's $149 a month to post a job, but we treat it like we're a retained search. We want to be the place every firm goes to hire staff, whether it's accounting students or entry level or experienced. Okay, well, it's 11 o'clock Central. That means our time here is done. Please email me if I can be of assistance. We'd love to chat, hear more about your recruiting program, your challenges. If there's anything that we can do, hopefully you will take advantage of that. And I want to say thank you for starting a Monday morning off with a webinar for me and bearing with our technical difficulties later on. Please email me if you have any questions. I thank you so much for your time and hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye for now.